Good morning.
Good morning to everyone. I think we can start. We have a busy schedule ahead. Welcome to our brokerage event on Horizon Europe Cluster 3. So it's security-related topics. I'm Ülle Napa from Estonian Research Council, and this event is co-organized with my very good colleagues from Lithuanian RDI Office in Brussels, and as well our fabulous NCPs on Cluster 3 topic. So from Estonian Research Council and from Agency for Science, Innovation and Technology, MITA from Lithuania. And this event will last approximately around 11. So we try to finish up before 11. We have very nice presenters today. And among you, we have some very nice pitch presentations as well. If you have some questions, please post them to the chat. Please keep your microphones muted if you are not speaking. And we will have a follow-up event. So this event is part of the series of events. And in the autumn, we will have a follow-up event, which is looking synergies between European defense funds and cluster 3 topics. So stay tuned with our information. The event will be recorded. You will receive the presentations afterwards, and we will be web streaming as well. So if your colleagues are not registered, they can still watch the presentations part. I would give now word to my colleague Brigitta for welcome words.
Welcome, short welcome from Lithuanian side as well. As Ulla mentioned, we've been organizing similar events since last December. Everything went online. And indeed, these online formats, they give some more possibilities than the physical ones. And if you show Yulia the next slide, we had quite an interest in this event from not only Europe, but also beyond. And you will hear one of the pitches from South Africa, for example. And you see that we got interest from all over Europe as well. And that's really why we like to do these events, to create a platform for you to meet different people from different countries, from different institutions, and we'll have not only universities, but also representatives from SMEs. And that's exactly the point of this small, nice brokerage event that will set the scene for the European Commission info days and the brokerages to come next month already, next week. So stay tuned and use this opportunity to get to know each other and find some proper partners for your future projects. And without further ado, Ulla, back to you.
Yes, before we start with our first speaker, there's still one piece of information to share, that we prepared a special online form as well for the partnerships list. So if you are registered to the event and would like to share your contact details, then please participate via this online list, which was sent all registered participants. So we would share among those people who register there all the contact information and your interest, where to participate and what kind of calls you are interested from. So I think it's a very nice way to share information about your future ideas and find very nice partners for cooperation. But now we would go on with the first presenter. So Claudio Catalano from DG Home, who is letting us know what is happening in Cluster 3. So Claudio, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for inviting me today. Indeed, I would like to tell you a little more about the Cluster 3 Civil Security Work Program that we have just adopted. I will present my screen in a second. I'll just read this. So we will get there. As I try and get there, I will just say that I'm Claudio Catalano, work for the European Commission in DG Home, and I'm the work program coordinator for Cluster 3. And seems I'm not very good at Zoom. I was apologies once we tried. Brigitta, could you perhaps show my slides? Would that be possible for you? Or it seems it's working.
We'll share. Mm-hmm. Anya, could you please speak a bit louder?
Yes.
Someone said can't hear you.
Yes, can you see my
Yes,
slides?
it works well now.
So, good morning, everyone again. I would like to briefly introduce you to Cluster 3, Civil Security for Society. As you know, this is part of Horizon Europe. Over the years, the focus of the security research program has evolved. This is not a new part of the research program of the European Union, but it is not as old as all of the research programs. So we started with security research in 2004, and back then the goal of security research was to enhance the industrial potential of the security market. And little by little this has evolved, and now security research is acknowledged as being one of the building blocks of the security union. So, of course, today we work in a new policy context. We address the six headline ambitions of the European Commission. So, an economy that works for people, promoting a European way of life, Europe fit for the digital age, and so on. Then these security priorities are reflected in a number of policy priorities and policy initiatives that we have taken, and we identify these 5 thematic dimensions, if you allow me. One being disaster risk reduction, another one border security, infrastructure protection, fight against crime and terrorism, and cybersecurity. We also see, however, that there are some challenges to security research and to the security research ecosystem. So in addition to tackling the thematic dimensions, we want also to increase the impact that security research has in the wider security ecosystem. So we look at different issues like fragmentation, or how can programming be improved to make sure that security research projects really address the needs of security practitioners, or what are the industrial dynamics, but also what are the ethical, legal, and societal issues related to security research, and so on. So the work program and our research and innovation strategy in general try and look at research as a tool that should be triggered once we have a capability needs that is identified by practitioners and with practitioners, so that we use research as a tool to improve the capabilities, to increase the capabilities of security practitioners. And in order to do that, we need what we call a forward-looking capability development cycle. So we need to have practitioners and all of the different stakeholders involved in security research, so to make sure that research actually produces something that's useful, and then this is taken up by the market, and then this is deployed, procured, and deployed by security practitioners. So it is with this background that we start Horizon Europe. And in Horizon Europe, we will have a small budget. It's 1.6 billion euros. So you see, when compared to the bigger Horizon Europe budget, we're a very small part of the program. And the priorities that are assigned to Cluster 3 are identified in the Horizon Europe strategic plan. That is a document that sets the research priorities for the first 4 years of the program. So from 2021 to 2024. Cluster 3 mainly contributes to the key strategic orientation A and the key strategic orientation D. Key strategic orientation A is about promoting the development of key digital technologies, whereas key strategic orientation B is about creating a more resilient, inclusive, and democratically secure society that is prepared to address threats and disasters. So within the strategic plan, the expected impact, and you will see on the slide we have an expected impact for cybersecurity. This is then reflected in the work program with the cybersecurity destination. And we then have 4 other expected impacts: enhanced disaster risk reduction, improved management of borders, tackling crime and terrorism, and cross-cutting issues. The first 3 on this slide will have 4 destinations in the work program. So 1 disaster resilience, 1 border management, 1 fight against crime and terrorism, 1 resilient infrastructure, whereas this other destination, I will speak about it in a second, strengthen security research and innovation, addresses the challenges I was mentioning before. So fragmentation, market uptake, and other challenges that are cross-cutting, they're not thematic. So this is the result. I mean, we've seen what are the different policy priorities, what are the expected impacts of cluster 3. We will have in the work program 6 destinations. What is important for applicants to know is that within, these destinations are the main structure of the work program. Then within each destination, there will be 1 call per year. So there is 1 call in 2021 and 1 call in 2022 for each of these destinations. You will see increased cybersecurity is gray simply because I will talk less about this because there's not under the remit of the G Home, but it's under the remit of the G Connect. The different destinations have different policy priorities too. So some of them will share the policy priorities, like the security union strategy is a priority that is addressed by different destinations, whereas some of destinations address sector-specific policies. This is just an attempt that we did to show the policy priorities in a slide. However, the work program clearly specifies what are the policy priorities behind each destination and each topic. This is extremely important for applicants or prospective applicants. Once you are drafting a project proposal, we do expect you to be aware of the policy dimension behind the work program and behind each topic. So I won't go too much into details of each destination because I think I've done this already. But just to tell you, within the work program, before we go into the different topics, we provide description of the destination and the policy context and where we are. And so we quote the expected impact of this strategic plan. So we say what we want to achieve with research within this area. Sorry. But we also say what are the contributions that research and innovation can bring, and how can research help us address threats and use opportunities. So this is the case for all of the different destinations. And it is also the case for destination strengthen security research and innovation, which is the one I told you about before, where we really try to address this cross-cutting issues or limits of security research. And we try to make sure that security research can be used as an enabler of innovation and really make it and really have an impact into the society. However, for all of the topics under all of the destinations, one of the most important aspects is the synergies. And synergies can be diverse. Synergies can be synergies between different projects, or synergies with follow-up projects, or therefore with other funds, perhaps also funds of the European Union, like the Internal Security Fund, that could be used at a later stage. what we really try and promote is a global vision. What we ask applicants is not only to think of a project, but think of what the project could produce and what the impact of the project could be also in the long term, and how would you like to get from point A to point B, and how can other stakeholders or other funding instruments help achieve that. One of the important elements of synergies is certainly networking. Networking can help find new ideas, can help promote projects with other and improve the outcome of the project. One of the frameworks for this is certainly the what we call the CEST, so the Community of European Research and Innovation for Security. Some of you might know the previous community of users. The CEST is an evolution of this. It's you will, once you get the slides, you will also receive the link to the website of CEST. And the idea is to help prospective applicants gather and talk to each other and see what are the challenges that we are facing today and how research could help address those challenges. Try to go quicker. So you will also see on the website the calendar of the events. They are thematic groups, so one for each destination, more or less. Of course, it will be a bit of a summer break, but then in September we will start again with the events. As Brigitta was saying just before, we will have the European Union Info Day in Cluster 3 tomorrow. The event will start at 9:30 and will finish at 6 p.m. And on Thursday, we'll have the Brokerage event. I have added the link to the event in the slides. However, I think the easiest is that you Google Cluster 3 EU Info Days, and you will find the registration platform and the agenda. And there we will be presenting in detail the different topics of 2021 and the impact logic and other cross-cutting issues that could be of interest for prospective applicants. One last slide. The security research event is an annual event that the Commission co-organizes with the Presidency of the Council. We will organize the next security research event next year on the 1st and 2nd of March 2022 in Paris. The idea, the objective is to have a physical meeting where we'll have both a conference and an exhibition of research projects. We have not had an SRE in 2020 and 2021 for obvious reasons, but we do hope to have one next year on 1st and 2nd of March in Paris. And with that, I thank you very much. And of course, I'm happy to take any questions should there be any.
Thank you very much. I think it was a very nice comprehensive overview. And we have 2 questions already. So the first question regards the technology readiness level. So what technology readiness level projects are mostly funded by this cluster?
Well, we try to be as wide as possible. It is true that for this work program, there could be a higher TRL, but in general, we'll also try to be quite flexible. One important thing, the technology readiness level, in the past, under Horizon 2020, we used to look at the starting TRL level, meaning once the project is applying for funding, then the project should already start from technology readiness level 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're looking at the TRL that the project aims to reach by the end of the project. So this is important. We don't ask the project, where are you at now? We ask the project, the applicants, where would you like to be at the end of the project? What is the goal that you have? Do you plan to be at TRL 5 by the end of the project, or TRL 7, etc.? So once you look only at the TRL number, it could seem that we ask for a higher TRL in comparison with Horizon 2020. But once you have a I mean, once you see the difference between the starting TRL and the sought TRL by the end of the project, you see the difference. As for the slides, yes, I will be providing slides to the audience.
Yes, we will share the slides definitely as well. Thank you. So I think this was really a good question and a very nice answer, because it's really a significant change, and the applicants need to be aware of that. Okay, do we have some more questions? I have one final question. You mentioned it in your presentation as well, that the multidisciplinary approach to the calls is very important. Perhaps you could elaborate on that as well a bit.
We try to, well, first of all, in most of the research topics, you will see that we require the participation of some stakeholders. So in some cases, the participation of police authorities is mandatory. In other cases, it will be civil society organizations or the management authorities. So we already prescribe the participation of some entities. At the same time, we encourage or we require the participation of experts in social science and humanities, especially for those topics where the SSH, so social science and humanities aspects are very important. And then in general, we really try and promote, specifically for some topics, a multidisciplinary approach, in which we say already in the topic scope. So in the work program, of course, we encourage applicants to look at different dimensions of a certain issue. And in order to do that, you should have experts from different disciplines. And of course, then on a topic by topic level, we describe what we think is the right approach, but then the applicants are ultimately the owners of their proposal, and they should see what is the best expertise they need to bring on board with the project proposal.
Thank you. I think this is a very important aspect as well to follow. Okay, thank you very much. I think we have to go on now.
Thank you.
And we will go on with one very nice success story. So we have asked here to present Beatriz Gallego, who is the coordinator of a DEFEND project. And we asked her to speak a bit about the project and as well to share her practical experience in participating in Horizon call. So Beatriz, thank you.
Hello everyone, good morning. So if I may, I will share my screen. Okay. Okay, do you see my screen?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. So yes, so thank you, Ule. I will start with my presentation about the DEFEND project, a success story in the Horizon 2020 project. So I will start with an introduction. Then I will present a bit the project, DEFEND, the results, and then I will share with you some lessons learned from this participation in the project. So first, I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Beatriz Gallego Nicasio Crespo, and I work as a cybersecurity researcher and project manager. I'm a computer engineer, and I have more than 15 years of experience working with IT systems. And since 2007, I work in Atos in the Research and Innovation Department. And I'm focused mainly doing research in security, in IT security, trust, cybersecurity, governance, and compliance. I've been participating in research projects funded by the European Commission since the framework, the framework program 6, 7, then Horizon 2020. But I also participated in projects in the EIT digital and ITEA programs, and I have been coordinating two projects, 3DSEC and DEFEND, which is the one that I'm going to present next. So just a few words about the Atos Research and Innovation Department. So this is the research group of Atos. and is a reference for the whole Atos Group project. We are located in Spain, in different cities in Spain, and we are aligned to the different strategic markets of Atos, but also we are aligned with the innovation research lines of the European Union. So we are organized into 5 markets and 10 research and development and innovation lines. One of them is cybersecurity. The cybersecurity unit, which is my team, the team where I work in, we focus on doing research in trust and security. And the main ambition is to address cybersecurity from a holistic approach, so considering people, processes, and technologies in order to offer a better detection, assessment of the impact, and response to cyber incidents. We have participated in several projects so far in different areas of the cybersecurity and trust, as you can see listed on the right-hand side. So I am not going to spend too much time on this. Now, about the project DEFEND. So DEFEND stands for Data Governance for Supporting GDPR. So the DEFEND project, it started in July 2018. It has an original duration of 30 months, but then we needed to ask for an extension of 3 additional months. This project was funded, the proposal was awarded in relation to the CAL topic H2020 DS08, cybersecurity PPP, privacy, data protection, and digital identities. And the grant amount was 2.7 million euros. The consortium of the project DEFEND is distributed across different countries in Europe, as you can see in the map. So we have partners in Spain, Portugal, in France, in the UK, in Italy, and in Bulgaria, and also in Greece. The project objectives was mainly to develop a platform, a software platform that will support organizations in compliance with GDPR. One of the main purposes of the platform was to be market-oriented. The DEFEND project was an innovation action. So as you probably know already, innovation actions build upon existing technologies that are provided by the partners of the consortium. And the idea is to develop innovations and adapt these technologies to address the purposes of the project, of the objectives of the projects. So that's why the result of the project should be something that is close to market, or as close as possible, and also to offer a modular solution that will be adopted by a wider range of different typologies of organizations. Also, the project objectives were to develop automated methods and techniques. So in this way, the platform will support the organizations in the analysis of the data that the organizations hold for the individuals. Also, the project was intended to support organizations with providing methodologies and tools for implementing privacy by design and privacy by default, and to provide data protection. The platform also supported in managing and enforcing and monitoring personal data consent. It also integrated solutions or technologies for encryption and anonymization. And the last objective of the project was to deploy this platform and to validate it in different pilot use cases in real operational environments. The project work plan was organized into 7 work packages. So there was one work package for management that also included innovation management, and also included task for security with a security advisory board. The project also has, in the work plan, there was a work package for the ethics management, which is something that the Commission was asking asking for to include. And then there was a work package for dissemination, communication, networking, and exploitation. And then there was 3 main work packages for technical developments, requirements, architecture, implementation, integration, deployment, and testing. And then work package 5 was about the validation of the technologies in the operational environments. About this validation of the platform in operational environments, one of the objectives of the project was to produce at the end of the project a platform that was in a maturity level of TRL 7. That means that the technology should have been validated in operational environments. And for that, we have included in the consortium 4 partners that represented 4 different sectors. Energy sector, healthcare, banking, and public administration. These partners also represented different typologies of potential end users of the platform. We had public institutions and private institutions, and we also have an SME. So in this sense, it will represent quite well the different typologies of potential end users of a platform such as DFEN. This is just information about the dissemination channels of the project in case you want to know more details about the results of the project. So you can check the website, Twitter account, and LinkedIn, and also some videos in the YouTube channel. In terms of results, so we have delivered different types of results. So we have some tangible results and non-tangible results. We have produced a set of requirements for DFEN, but also these requirements can be applicable for any platform or software that aims to support organizations in compliance with GDPR. We have also produced 5 services, major services that support the organization in this activity. And these services encapsulate 10 different tools. Then we also have produced different innovations. So we have 11 existing tools and services that has been advanced beyond the state of the art during the project. 2 of them were 2 open source tools and technologies that were already available in the market, and 9 proprietary tools that were brought by the different partners of the consortium into the project. We also have produced a new product in the market, which is the DFEN integrated platform. And we have advanced the state of the art in 4 different areas. Another outcome, one of the most important outcomes of the project, is the actual DFEN platform, which is a fully fledged modular platform that supports organization towards GDPR compliance and that organizations can already start using. And then finally, we have the validation activities and the use cases that, as I said before, are representative from different typologies of target end users, and that can be analyzed in order to extract interesting success stories for potential customers of the platform. And last but not least, we have achieved a very good impact in the research community, but also in the industrial community. We have 15 publications, 7 industrial and 8 scientific. We have organized 13 workshops and events. We have been invited to participate in 17 workshops, 5 exhibitions, 3 EU events, and 5 communication events. And we have already been involved in 3 commercial engagements. We have already started 9 contacts with potential customers, and we have 1 MVP. And this is so far because the contacts keep appearing after the project ends. So the project finished in March, by the end of March, but we keep receiving expression of interest from different organizations to do some demos or to have some personalized presentations to know more about the platform. To continue this activity of engagement with potential stakeholders and customers, in the website there is the onboarding page, which is a page that is only for registered users, where you can find additional information about the project results. So you can have videos, training material. You can have also documents with description of the outcomes, the platform handbook. You also have the details about the pilots and their storylines. And also you can have the opportunity to contact us to request a demo or a personalized presentation. Just some highlights about the results. I mean, I mentioned before that there were successful results of the project. So the project went very well through the final review. These are some comments from the reviewers and the project officer that basically highlight that the project was a success. And also it is important to highlight here that it was acknowledged that the results obtained by the project represent a valuable output for the EU and non-EU citizens and customers inside out and outside the EU, and it also has an impact in different policies of the European Commission, such as the support for the fundamental rights in digital society, increased trust and confidence in the digital single market, and increasing the use of privacy by design principles in ICT systems and services. Now about the lessons learned. So from the participation in a project such as DEFEN, something that you can extract as a result is that you have to have a very well-balanced consortium. It is not only to address the conditions that the work program normally establish in the description of the topics. You have to involve, I don't know, different competence fields, that you have to include some, I don't know, for example, address some critical sectors, or to include some end user organizations and things like that. It is also in practical terms, you need to ensure that you involve the required expertise, that you, I mean, you can overlap, but you need to ensure that you cover different levels of expertise, because in this sense, this will help very much in the execution of the project. Also different types of partners, as I mentioned before, in the 4 pilot use cases that we have in the project, we were combining private sector, public sector, SMEs, and big organizations, different sectors in the market, because each one is going to bring their vision of the same problem, and this is always going to enrich the quality and I mean contribute to achieving a higher quality of the results that you involve. And also the geographical distribution is something that also helps to enrich the results, because from different countries, the levels of, for example, in the case of DEFEN, we were dealing with GDPR. GDPR is a directive of the Commission, but of the European Union, but in each country is implemented at different levels. So this was very, very useful to understand how it was implemented, for example, in Bulgaria, or how it was implemented in France. There were many differences. So geographical distribution is also a key point when you are building your consortium. And then another lesson learned, in this case, we were facing the COVID-19 pandemic, and we all know about that, all the challenges that it was posing to everyone in their daily activities, not only for the research project, but you know, for everyone, it was a real challenge. Despite of that, I mean, we managed to finalize the project, to achieve all the objectives, to submit of the deliverables and milestones. We requested 3 months of extension, and this is always possible. I mean, obviously in agreement with the project officer, you have to have your reasons and well documented, etc. But this is possible. This has to do with the flexibility on the right-hand side. So your work plan should be flexible enough to adapt and accommodate this kind of delays. Then also we had to adapt the way that we plan to execute the pilot's validation. So we needed to reach TRL 7. This is a quite high TRL. We needed to to deploy the platform in operational environments, but we were not able to go physically to the location of the pilots to do that. So we needed to also change a bit the way to do it. We had very good platforms for video conferences. We can do remote support, etc. This also had to do with the willingness and the teamwork on the right-hand side. So, I mean, if you have this commitment to achieve the results, you can adapt your original plan to finally reach and accomplish the objectives. And also, this has also an impact in the dissemination and communication KPIs. So we need to cancel physical events. We need to switch to virtual events. But in the end, it worked very well. So it's something that, at the beginning, we thought that it was going to be a real problem. But then in the end, we just organized virtual events, and then a lot of people attended to them. So yes, in the end, it was a good switch. And then the last point is about the new opportunities that arise after you participate in a project such as DEFEND. Actually, DEFEND was like the continuation of an existing FP7 project, which was a vision project. So the core consortium of that project decided to participate in the Horizon 2020 proposal submission. They submitted the proposal DEFEND. It was awarded, and we had the successful project. So after this participation, you create a new network of organizations that, if you have not participated in this kind of projects, probably you cannot get, or it will be a bit more difficult to get. So I think that it opens a lot of opportunities. You have the opportunities to innovate your existing ideas and technologies, so you can improve your portfolio, you can improve your positioning, and you also are able to reach a wider range of commercial engagements individually or jointly with other partners. And in the end, just to finalize my presentation, we are also the core of the consortium of DEFEND. We are also considering sending a new proposal to any of the Horizon Europe work program topics. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Beatriz. This was very inspirational. It was very nice to see what all could be done under one Horizon project. So it's very impressive. So if anyone has some questions, please post it in the chat. My first question is how you found all your partners, because you had a very nice list of partners, very nice geographical coverage. You mentioned as well that the partners were from very different sectors, and it seems very difficult to get all those partners on board. How you managed to do that? What is your trick?
Yeah, actually, I mean, in the case of Atos, we have a long track of participation in EU-funded projects. So we have very good contacts from previous experience, previous projects, previous proposal that we have submitted. So we have a good network of partners. But as I said before, the DEFEND project was the continuation of another FP7 project. So the core of the consortium was already there, and these partners also have their own contacts. So you create a network, and this network facilitates you to reach other contacts in other countries. For example, the municipality of Pestera in Bulgaria. It is a small municipality. It is difficult to reach unless you find the right contact, that is going to put you in touch with them. So that was the case. It was, another partner that have met them in an info day, and then, you get the card, and then when you need it, then you remember, and then you contact them. So I think that participation in this kind of brokerage events, info days, other different, research conferences and things like that facilitate you to find new contacts, but also your own network is going to facilitate you to reach other organizations.
So networking is the keyword.
Yeah, correct.
And you mentioned as well the COVID-19 experience, that you have to reorientate your activities and use more virtual events and different platforms. But if you are now planning a new project proposal, how you will exploit that kind of experience? Would you recommend to use more virtual tools as well? Because it seems that your experience with virtual tools was quite positive.
Yes, actually, yes. As I said before, at the beginning, we thought it was going to be, a real challenge, and we flag it as a risk to achieve the impact objectives and KPIs that we had. But in the end, it proved to go very well, because we also leverage the relationship that we had with existing initiatives, such as the cyberwatching.eu. They are organizing events. They are putting in contact, projects and partners all over Europe, etc. And that also facilitated to do the first steps. Like you can organize small webinars and things like that, and then after that you can create or organize your own events. In the end, we have the final presentation event, and we organize it ourselves. And in the end, it was a real success, because more than 100 people attended. I don't think that if we organize it physically, we will reach that number. I think it's very difficult, but given the fact that the people do not need to travel, they don't have to spend some money, in going to the place, it also facilitates the attendance.
Yes, I can only agree, because the experience we have had now with Brigitta, with our events, that we have really much more international audience.
Yeah.
So we should take advantage of it.
Yep.
So the last question from Brigitta: can the participants of this event contact you as well in order? It's connected to the Horizon Europe proposals. You have listed here some calls.
Yeah, as I said, we are just studying the different conditions and requests of the work program. We have already considered this list here, 2 in the cluster 3, 1 in the cluster 4, and we are at the moment building the consortium. So yeah, we are open to receive contacts and requests.
And I think this is a very nice example that the clusters, they have synergies, and the topics are sometimes the most important topics could be in other clusters as well. So I would encourage everyone to look at other clusters as well. Okay, Beatriz, thank you very much. It was very, very nice presentation and discussion afterwards. So very inspirational. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So now we will go on with our NCPs, and we have pre-selected 5 topics for this event, and we have now NCPs from Estonia and Lithuania introducing those topics. And as I understood, the first one to start is our very good colleague from Lithuania, Elena Šataitė. So please, Egle.
Thank you, Ule, and good morning, everyone. I'm Elena Šataitė. I'm Cluster 3 NCP from Lithuania and working at the Agency for Science, Innovation and Technology. And this morning, together with my colleague Maria from Estonian Research Council, we will both present pre-selected calls from the work program 2021. And I will begin this presentation, and I will be followed then by Maria. Okay, so now let's move to the next slide, please. And I would like to introduce to you a topic from Fighting Crime and Terrorism call, FCT 0106, Domestic and Sexual Violence are prevented and combated. So please have in mind that it's innovation action call with estimated EU contribution of around 3 million euros. And 2 projects are expected to be funded under this call, and the activities that are expected to achieve by the end of the project are of TRL 6 or 7. The call itself opens tomorrow on 30th June on Funding and Tenders portal. And the deadline to submit your proposal is 23rd of November this year. Please have in mind also that additional eligibility conditions apply here. So this topic requires the active involvement as beneficiaries of at least 2 police authorities and at least 2 civil society organizations from at least 3 different member states, EU member states, or associated countries. Proposals are expected to address one of the following options, being either domestic violence or sexual violence, but the coordination of the successful proposals from the 2 options is encouraged. Now, several words on the call scope, how it is described in the work program. So the work program indicates that there is a need to improve current European approaches to fight domestic and sexual violence using innovative technological solutions. And these technological solutions should, for example, further develop and improve automated interactive tools, such as, for example, chatbots that are used by victims to report cases to the police. Moreover, project activities should develop innovative technological solutions aimed at finding videos offenders share through mobile devices or social media, and that helps to identify offenders and to find victims. Furthermore, the work program states that modern and effective awareness-raising campaigns need to be developed for police authorities and relevant civil society organizations to pass key messages to potential victims. And last but not least, modern and novel approaches are needed to support victim assistance services of police authorities and relevant civil society organizations in providing efficient protection and help to victims. The work program also lists the expected outcomes, and you can see those listed here on the slide as well. I will name only several of them. So the expected outcomes include improved prevention, detection, and investigation of domestic violence and sexual assaults, enriched European common approaches applied by police authorities to fight domestic and sexual violence, novel, safe, lawful, and efficient solutions applied by security practitioners and policymakers to protect victims of domestic and or sexual violence, increased awareness of citizens regarding domestic and social and sexual violence, and so on and so on. So now let's move to another call. Next slide, please. Which is in the area of border management. So the call is 0103, improved border checks for travel facilitation across external borders and improved experiences for both passengers and border authorities staff. This is again an innovation action activity with estimated EU contribution of around 4 million. 2 projects are expected to be funded under this call, and the activities to be achieved by the end of the project is of TRL 7 or 8. The call itself again opens tomorrow on Funding and Tenders portal, and the submission deadline is 23rd of November. This call also sets additional eligibility conditions. It requires active involvement as beneficiaries of at least 3 border authorities at least from at least 3 different EU member states or associated countries. And moreover, the use of Copernicus data for Earth observation is encouraged also. In addition, if projects use satellite-based positioning, navigation, and/or related timing data and services, beneficiaries must make use of Galileo and EGNOS. So please have in mind that as well. Now, several words on the scope of the call. So research should develop and systematically test and validate solutions to speed up and facilitate the border crossing experience at land, sea, and/or border crossing points for both travelers and staff of border authorities. And systems should include capabilities for border guards to do checks in mobility, and/or identify and/or control passengers and their vehicles and luggage without stopping them. In addition, there is a need to set up or scale up the capacity of certain border crossing points within a relatively short notice. Moreover, proposals under this topic are expected to address the priorities of the European Border and Coast Guard and of its agency Frontex, starting from the design of their work and engage Frontex in the development of the project. The expected outcomes are again listed here on the slide, just to name them very briefly. So it is expected that the project will validate innovative solutions for border crossing facilitation systems at European level, also will increase security and reliability of border checks, and better organization, flexibility, and planning of border checks will be achieved during the project. Okay, and now let's move to a next call. Next slide, please. Which is also in the area of border management, 0104, I'm sorry, advanced detection of threats and illicit goods in postal and express courier flows. This is research and innovation action, please have in mind, with an EU contribution of around 4 million euros. And again, 2 projects are expected to be funded under this call. Activities expected to achieve TRL 4 or 4 to 6 by the end of the project. And the opening and closing dates are the same. So the call opens tomorrow and the deadline is again 23rd of November this year. This call also sets additional eligibility conditions. Please have that in mind. So this topic requires the active involvement as beneficiaries of at least 2 customs authorities and 2 police authorities from at least 3 different EU member states or associated countries. The scope in the work program emphasizes that research under this topic will contribute to build capabilities for more effective detection of threats and of dangerous and illicit goods within postal and express courier flows. And currently, there is a lack of technology that allows screening the volumes and at the speed of processing the parcels, making manual intervention necessary. At the same time, organized crime groups think that they run a relatively low risk in exploiting postal and parcels supply chains to move a range of illicit and dangerous goods. And successful innovation could hence also have a deterrent effect on criminal organizations to use such channels. And expected outcomes, I've listed them again on the slide, and those include improved detection of threats and dangerous and illicit goods by practitioners and operators, improved capacity of practitioners and operators to deny the misuse of the postal and parcel service by criminal or terrorist group to move items, and improved risk assessment, preparedness, and reaction capacities in the postal and parcel service. And this concludes my presentation. Now, Maria, the floor is yours.
Hello, my name is Maria Sundberg, and I'm the Estonian NCP for Civil Security for Society, and I'm going to introduce 2 cybersecurity calls. So the first slide, please. Thank you. So the first call is dynamic business continuity and recovery methodologies based on models and prediction for multi-level cybersecurity. It's a research and innovation action, and the expected EU contribution per project is 3 to 5 million euros, and there are 5 projects expected to be funded, and the TRL by the end of the project should be 4, and the deadline is 21st of October. End users should be involved in all steps of the cycle from design to development and testing. The participation of SMEs is encouraged, and this topic requires the effective contribution of SSH disciplines and the involvement of SSH experts, institutions, as well as the inclusion of relevant SSH expertise. And it's also important that the proposals should build on existing research and projects. For example, projects funded under the Horizon 2020 topic SU Infra 01, prevention, detection, response, and mitigation of combined physical and cyber threats to critical infrastructure in Europe. And the scope for this call is that this action aims at developing new methodologies, services, and tools for accelerating the self-recovery and possible adaptation of the infrastructures and supply chain after an attack. And here you can see that the projects are expected to contribute to all of the following expected outcomes: advanced self-healing disaster recovery and effective business continuity in critical sectors, for example, energy, transportation, and health. Also enhanced mechanism for exchange of information among relevant players, better disaster preparedness against possible disruptions, attacks, and cascading effects, and better business continuity covering 2 or more sectors. And next slide, please. Thank you. And the second call is scalable privacy preserving technologies for cross-border federated computation in Europe involving personal data. And it's also research and innovation action. And the project indicative funding is 3 to 5 million euros. There are 4 projects expected to be funded. And there's also this TRL4 expected to be achieved by the end of the project. And the deadline is also 21st of October. And the consortia should bring together interdisciplinary expertise and capacity covering the supply and the demand side, industry, service providers, and end users. And participation of SMEs is strongly encouraged. And legal expertise should also be incorporated to assess and ensure compliance of the technical project results with data regulations and the GDPR. And the proposed solution should be guided by the EU's high standards concerning the right to privacy, protection of personal data, and the protection of fundamental rights in the digital age. And the scope is that using big data for digital services and scientific research brings about new opportunities and challenges. Here you can see that the projects are expected to contribute to some of the following expected outcomes: For example, improved, scalable, and reliable privacy-preserving technologies for federated processing of personal data and their integration in real-world systems, and more user-friendly solutions for privacy-preserving processing of federal personal data registries by researchers, and also some of the other expected outcomes. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you have questions to our NCPs, please put them in chat, but you're of course very welcome to contact the NCPs after this event. We will divide the slides as well, so you can really read all the slides by yourself, and if you have questions afterwards, you're very welcome to contact. And please do remember that in each of the country you will have your own NCPs as well, and you are welcome to contact your local NCP as well. But we are a bit behind the schedule, so we would now go on with our short presentation. And I would like to thank you, our viewers in YouTube channel, because now we stop the recording. And so thank you very much. And I would give now the word to my colleague Brigitta, who will guide you through the next session.
Now we go to we don't do any